Hello and welcome to Game Day U. I'm your host, Kaylee Jo Hommel, and next to me is Emily LeBeth. And it looks a little different on the set today because Aiden Tyler and Britton Ross are on the road with the Sooners live in Auburn. Now before the Tiger talk, we're going to take a look at last Saturday's rocky topple on Owen Field. And even Ben didn't know what was to come. We're going to start in the second. Jackson Arnold's already thrown an interception. It's tied 3-3 and Tennessee takes the lead with this 66-yard touchdown pass. But the defense responds. Robert Spears-Jennings forces the volunteer fumble, and it's recovered by Ethan Downs, Sooner ball. But what happens in the very next play? Jackson Arnold fumbles, and he fumbles again later in this quarter, 19-3 Tennessee at the half. We're now taking it to the fourth, and Michael Hawkins Jr. is in as quarterback, and he shows he knows a thing or two about Sooner magic. He literally flips into the end zone. The play is called short, but now we have Arnold handing the ball off to Javonte Barnes for the second Sooner touchdown. Final score, 25-15 Tennessee. Now it's easy. Why not talk about the good? The defense. They held the #1 scoring offense in the country to just 25 points and 345 yards.
Yeah, Kelly Jo, that defense is what kept the Sooners in this game. And that 25-15 score sounds a lot better than how the game actually went. OU was held to 3 points until the fourth quarter and allowed their first safety at home since 2014.
The OU run game continued to be a sore spot for the Sooners. The leading rusher was Taylor Tatum with only 14 yards, and Javonte Barnes only averaged 1.5 yards per carry. The Sooners' leading rusher, Michael Hawkins Jr. with 22 yards as he was running for his life in the backfield.
Yeah, the Sooners O-line has allowed 3 sacks every single game this year, and that continued against Tennessee. I mean, you mentioned it. It is really hard to find success when the quarterback is running for his life in the backfield.
Thanks, Aiden. Sooner fans are hoping QB play will be great this week. However, with Michael Hawkins Jr. named as the starter, head coach Brent Venables knows the role he plays in the true freshman's success.
We as coaches got to be the headlights for our players. They've never been, a 2-year veteran yet. Mike hasn't. He hadn't played a whole bunch of college football. He hadn't been to that stadium. So you try to paint the picture, an adequate picture, and then you pump in the crowd noise and then tell them to focus on things that you can control.
I could mention OU's points off turnovers, but I should really talk about turnovers off turnovers because both times the OU defense recovered a fumble, Jackson Arnold fumbled it right back to Tennessee on the very next play, which Seth Luttrell says is unacceptable.
Obviously not near good enough. It's awful, and at the end of the day, again, you got to look at yourself first and figure out things that you can do better in different situations. In the first half, you're not going to win the games by turning the ball over 3 times. Having 2 great opportunities there. We got to do a better job at making sure we take care of the football.
Now for our anchors on the Plains, Aiden and Britton are live from Jordan-Hare Stadium. What are OU players saying needs to be done to tackle this Tiger opponent and get win number 4 on the road?
Well, Kaylee Jo, the Sooners defense did their part last Saturday against Tennessee to get the win, but just fell short. The Sooners held Tennessee to 200 yards and 40 points less than the Vols season average, but they still gave up some of the big plays in the passing game. Senior defensive back Billy Bowman said that they just have to clean that up to get better.
Yeah, I feel like the times where we give big stuff up on defense is we're literally giving it to them. So we gift wrap it with a bow and handed it to them. If we eliminate the big plays and we tackle better, myself included, we'll be even better than we can be. So, yes, we still have room to improve. We played good, but there's still more to go.
The Sooners' offensive line has been atrocious this year. They only got a singular yard per carry on the ground, and they've been sacked, like I mentioned, 12 times over 4 games. Center Branson Hickman believes the big boys have to put in some overtime if they want to improve.
Yeah, just continue to show up to work every day. Obviously we're not clicking at the moment, and just got to keep doing more. We're doing more. We're meeting more together outside of the allotted times and stuff. We're trying to really up our level. So, it's really just about showing up every day, ready to work, and competing to the best of our ability.
And me and Britton will have some more in the show from Auburn. We're going to kick it back to Kaylee Jo in the studio.
Thanks, Aiden and Britton. Well, back here in the Sooner State, fans will still be cheering on OU football, but they won't be doing it from Gaylord Memorial Stadium. Our Abby Williams has more on the newest hotspot.
Well, the food is great, but the hospitality is even better. Stick with us. to see how two former OU football players started one of Norman's new favorite restaurants.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Now, some fans will be watching from their couch, some will be throwing their own tailgate, and some will be enjoying it at local restaurants. Gameday U reporter Abby Williams is live at one of the newest spots in Norman, expecting Sooner fans today. Abby?
I'm right outside of Coach's Corner, the true definition of Sooner born, Sooner bred. Two OU football players once suited up together in the crimson and cream, and now they're co-owners of one of the hottest new spots on Lindsay Street. From the gridiron to the griddle, Malin Wesley and Corey Wilson have seen it all. 30 years ago, the pair played football together at OU, and now, instead of winning games, they're winning customers' hearts.
That's what we try to predicate our business off of, is just having great customer service, meeting people where they are, always trying to leave an impressionable smile on everybody's face, and talk to every single body.
But it wasn't easy getting to where they are now.
We got our liquor license on the Thursday. We passed our health exam on the Friday. We put in a lot of work, a lot of hours. It's a lot of money that goes into this. This is not backed by a corporation. It's backed by two brothers who grew up from nothing.
And despite the smiles Malin and Corey put on for their customers, they still have their own battles.
I live with lupus. Silent killer. My daddy died from it at 55. I'm 52. So it's a struggle every day, but knowing I got the support of my brother, who I know gonna have my back whether I can make it to work, who tells me to rest and understands my struggle and lets me know that it's all right to deal with your issue. Because if you're not here, what good is it?
Like offense and defense, there isn't one without the other.
I get my strength from him, from what he goes through every day.
And that strength is what both men use to form relationships with everyone who finds a seat in Coach's Corner. Malin and Corey say you'll never find one without the other. Coach's Corner is open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and I can personally say they have some of the best lemon pepper wings I've ever had. Reporting live from Lindsay and Berry Street, Abby Williams, Gameday U.
Thanks, Abby. Now, OU didn't make the best first impression in the SEC. I'd even go as far to say I would not have given them my first impression rose. When I was at SEC Media Days, I caught up with Bachelorette star and SEC Network analyst Jordan Rogers about the rest of Oklahoma's schedule. Now, I know you know a thing or two about receiving the final rose.
I do, yes.
But I'm gonna switch it up on you.
Okay.
And instead, I'm gonna have you give out your final rose to each one of OU's SEC opponents.
I like it, okay.
First SEC away game, Auburn.
Jordan-Hare is a tough place to play, so I'm gonna lean towards Auburn. I'm gonna give them the rose on that one.
Okay, and then next up we have big rivalry, OU Texas.
I'm gonna give that one to Texas. I think they're a little further ahead than Oklahoma is right now, but that one's always a fun rivalry.
South Carolina, what are we thinking?
Where's that one at?
That's at home in Norman.
Oh, I'm giving that rose is going to Oklahoma. I think they get that one done for sure.
And then next, away game at Ole Miss.
I'm going to go Ole Miss with that one. Oxford is a fun place, so if you're an Oklahoma fan, go experience the Grove.
Another away game, this time Missouri.
Oh, man, you guys are going to hate me. I'm going to give that one to Mizzou. Okay, Mizzou is one of the most underrated, difficult places to play because it's kind of funky.
Alabama's coming to Norman.
Okay, I'm giving that one to Bama. Bama's going to be tough next year, and Milroe is talented. That defense in Oklahoma is going to keep them in it. Again, Oklahoma's not getting not an easy out for anybody. They're not getting blown out by anybody.
LSU in Death Valley.
Man, I should have looked at the schedule before I did this. Death Valley's a nightmare. Death Valley's really tough. And I think LSU, best offensive line in the entire country. They lose Jaden Daniels, but I think they're going to be steadily improving as the season goes on.
Well, thank you so much. That's all we have from SEC Media Days. Rogers only chose OU one time over South Carolina. And the Sooners are rising up to the challenge of their next rival. When we return, it's not the eye of the tiger, it's eyes on the Tigers. We'll take a look at OU football's next prey coming up next.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I'm an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I know it's not October quite yet, but it's getting spooky in the SEC. Gameday U reporter Aiden Tyler was at SEC Media Days in July and got the lowdown on one of the hardest places to play in the conference.
The 13th floor of SEC Media Days may not be haunted, but there may be somewhere else in the SEC that is. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck told Oklahoma QB Jackson Arnold that Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn is cursed for opposing QBs. And the Auburn squad seems to think that there's nothing quite like their home field advantage.
Well, it's loud as crap, so that is number one. You know, I don't know anything about something being cursed or not, you know, so I guess I can't speak on that, but I think we have incredible fans, and it starts with our fans and how they pack the stadium and the energy they bring. You know, they're not some old folks who sit there and, you know, enjoy a Saturday. You know, they're all there to make an impact. They understand the impact that they can make, and they do it. And so our fans are outstanding.
Yeah, two straight years of sellout. We're thankful to our fans for doing that. That they're faithful, they're loyal, and they love their Auburn Tigers. And then our student section is the best. I mean, we get there 2 hours before the game, and it is packed already. Everybody wants the lottery to get the tickets to the games they want, and it's wish we had bigger space for all of them to come.
The Sooners get the spooky season started early on September 28th when they visit Auburn for the first time ever. Reporting from SEC Media Days, I'm Aiden Tyler.
Thanks, Aiden. Well, the Sooners and Tigers have met 2 times before, and both were during bowl season, and OU won both of them. Auburn is coming off a home loss to the Hogs, 24-14.
The Tigers averaged 9.8 yards per pass. Last week, the Sooners had a couple busted coverage plays, one that led to a 66-yard Tennessee touchdown. However, Auburn is starting a different quarterback this week in Peyton Thorne. You just heard from him. So this Auburn Air Show could play out differently. Britton, Aiden, what else is notable about the Tigers?
OU's defense was able to keep Tennessee out of the end zone in the second half last week. Not as many offensive fireworks today at Jordan Hare. Auburn's offense only ranks 27th in the country, going up against an OU defense ranked 28th.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Auburn's defense. They only allow a score 66% of the time their opponent is inside the 20. And new starter Michael Hawkins Jr. only touchdown against Tennessee? Well, it came in the red zone. The Sooners will need to find success in the red zone if they want to cage the Tigers. Back to you, Kaylee Jo.
Thanks, Aiden. Well, over in the rest of the SEC, Arkansas and the number 24 Aggies are in the same boat as Oklahoma and Auburn, hunting for that 4th win. Kickoff is 2:30 in Dallas.
And it's homecoming for Ole Miss as they host Kentucky to open conference play. Against a then number 1 Georgia, the Wildcats had the lead in the 4th before falling 13-12. But Kentucky has to put points on the board. Ole Miss has scored 10 times more points than their opponents, 220-22. What game do you got, Britt?
Former OU offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby and his Miss State Bulldogs are going on to take the number 1 team in the country, Texas, this afternoon. And we all saw what Jeff Lebby can do with his play calling abilities against Texas in last year's Red River rivalry game. So maybe, just maybe, they can pull off the upset today.
And maybe they can, but keep an eye out on Alabama versus Georgia tonight at 6:30. It's an SEC title game rematch between 2 top 5 teams who have really dominated the conference recently. It'll be exciting to see if Georgia speeds on by the Tide or if Alabama finds themselves with a Dixieland delight. Back to you, Kaylee Jo.
Thanks, Aiden. But now it's time to focus in on one specific game, Oklahoma versus Auburn, of course. When we come back, we'll break down who and what you should be watching for today.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more than
who I am on paper.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
After last week's performance, there's a lot of things Sooner fans are hoping will change. It's time to break down who and what they should be watching out for. The most necessary change, this offense as a whole. The run game is nearly non-existent. The Sooners averaged 1.1 yards per carry against Tennessee. Now, Javonte Barnes led the running back room, but with 12 yards on 8 carries. The ball just wouldn't move. With less than 12 minutes left, OU hadn't even reached 100 offensive yards. Plus, true freshman running back Taylor Tatum headed to the locker room after carrying the ball 3 times for 14 yards. Now he's out in today's game, and Emily, I don't even have time to mention this quarterback situation.
Hey, don't you worry, Kaylee Joe, I got the time. 3 turnovers against Tennessee got Jackson Arnold benched for Michael Hawkins Jr. Now, his first career start is an SEC road game. The last time a true freshman quarterback won on the road in the conference was Bo Nix in 2019. But not only does Hawkins have to prove himself, he has to do it by himself. All of OU's top 5 receivers are ruled out today. Expect a big run game from the true freshman. And Britton, how about the other side of the ball?
One thing that Brent Venables is known for is his defense. This OU squad is ranked 28 in the country and has forced 12 turnovers this season, 8 fumble recoveries and 4 interceptions. That's tied for the most out of anyone in college football, San Jose State being the only other school to force 12 turnovers. And this Auburn team can barely stay on the field. They're dead last in turnover margin at -10 and have given the ball away 14 times in just 4 games. Maybe the Sooners just have to play keep away this afternoon.
Yeah, Britton, you mentioned the defense has forced those 12 turnovers. Against Tennessee, they forced 2 fumbles, and the offense continued to give it right back. The D needs some help from the struggling offense. They held a Tennessee offense that averaged over 60 points a game to just 25. The Sooners also only allowed 6 third-down conversions on 19 attempts. They also kept the run game at bay as Tennessee only averaged 2.9 yards per carry. The defense really gave the offense every opportunity to win that game. Well, that's all the time that Britton, Bo, and I have here in Auburn. Back to you in the studio, Kaylee Joe.
Thanks, Aiden. Emily will be leaving the set, and Aiden and Britton will get ready to cover the game, but you should stay with us. When we return, we're going to have a new group of analysts ready to make some college football picks.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping. Got a few minutes? You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused. A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Welcome back and say welcome to these new analysts on the set. I'm now joined with Kevin Daniel, Darby McCormick, and Landon Thomas. Now it's the battle for a bounce back in the Big 12. Who's hungrier for a win? Number 20 Oklahoma State or number 25 Kansas State?
A strong passing attack is integral to any team who wants to win in today's game, especially in the high-scoring Big 12. With the 15th ranked passing offense, Alan Bowman's 10 touchdowns will keep the Cowboys' aim steady in any shootout.
Let's be real here. Both teams had a disappointing start to their Big 12 play, but K-State allows the Big 12's second highest completion percentage for an opposing quarterback. If Bowman can get it done, it'll be pistols firing in Bill Snyder.
Y'all got it all wrong. I think the Cowboys are out of their shooting range here. When you have a dual-threat quarterback like Avery Johnson who can make plays with both his arms and legs, it's hard for me not to take Kansas State here.
Kirby Smart has only been able to beat Bama once, but with Nick Saban as the head coach. Will the new head guy help the Bulldogs' cause, or will Jalen Milroe continue to show that he's a Heisman contender?
Jalen Milroe and Alabama have had a great run, but the Crimson Tide is about to crash into a seawall known as the Georgia defense. Georgia is 4th in the nation in total defense and 3rd in scoring defense. Georgia has this one on lock.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are heading to Alabama, and their star defensive lineman is a game-time decision. But when you've got a defense that hasn't allowed an offensive touchdown, Georgia is plotting revenge for losing last year's SEC championships as well. I'm saying go Dogs.
Do y'all not remember that the Bulldogs nearly rolled over and played dead to Kentucky last week? Bama hasn't been a home underdog since 2007, which was the same year their leading wide receiver Ryan Williams was born. Ain't nothing but roll tide in this one.
Now, we've talked a lot about OU's first road test and first SEC road test. So I've got to know, will OU or Auburn get their first SEC win of the season?
Starting a true freshman in a stadium as infamous as Jordan Hare is a recipe for disaster. It'll take more than Michael Hawkins' athleticism to fix the Sooners' offense. I've got the Tigers handing OU their second straight loss.
Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze chose to bench Peyton Thorne because the team needed something else, quote unquote. Then chose to start Thorne against OU defense that leads the SEC in turnover margin. That something else is starting to look like a Sooners' first SEC win.
I agree with you, Darby, but Kevin, you've gotten every pick wrong today. The Sooners have the eye of the tiger in this one. The Sooners are tied for 5th in turnover margin, while the Tigers are in the bottom 3. This is exactly what the Sooners need to get their first SEC win of the season.
Well, I'm picking Auburn, and that's all we have for this game day. For Kevin Daniel, Darby McCormick, and Landon Thomas, I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. We'll be back after OU's bye week. Thanks for watching Game Day U, where it just means more.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect.